Eric Breimer, a specialist in outdoor and extreme sports, defines them as leisure activities where the most likely outcome of a mismanaged mistake or accident is death.
The participants of extreme activities are aware of the potential risks they are facing. Extreme sports demand perpetual care, high degrees of training and preparation, and above all, discipline and control.
So then why do people engage in extreme sports?
Breimer found that athletes that partake in extreme sports feel closer to nature, not just physically, but spiritually as well. These athletes tend to have a higher sense of reality by connecting with nature and living in the moment. They feel as though they are a part of something greater than themselves. A lot of people tend to think that people who participate in extreme sports are just plain crazy adrenaline junkies. A study published in Psychology Today found that men and women extreme sport participants shared a variety of positive personality structures, including above average intelligence, above average independence, self-assertiveness, and forthrightness. Those who participate in extreme sports don't perceive them as deadly. Extreme sports are not about defeating nature, but they are about conquering oneself. Through these extreme sports, it helps bring individuals closer to nature because they know the consequences of their errors. This makes them pay more attention to their surroundings. Individuals must stay focused until they become one with the environment. Through their connection with nature, they tend to experience a spiritual awakening by which they learn who they are and why they are here, a sense of humility.
The top 5 extreme sports in Australia are big wave surfing, free climbing, mountaineering, free diving, and adventure racing. Big wave surfing is a type of surfing where the waves are over 20 feet or 6.2 meters tall. Surfers are subject to long hold downs where they are held underwater due to the force of the waves, which can result in injury from hitting underwater rocks, reefs, surfboards, and other surfers. Free climbing is a type of rock climbing usually done alone, where they use minimal ropes and equipment for safety and no equipment to help assist them in their climb. They are only using their bodies to support them.
Mountaineering is another extreme activity that includes rock climbing, mountain climbing, backpacking, skiing, and hiking through all sorts of terrain and weather. Free diving involves diving into the water as deep as possible on a single breath and returning to the surface. This is considered a dangerous activity due to the extreme pressures generated by depth and by the phenomenon known as shallow water blackout. Adventure racing, also known as expedition racing, is compiled of many different activities that navigate unmarked terrain in the wild that can range anywhere from a couple of hours to a couple of weeks. Some examples are trekking, skiing, paddling, climbing, biking, and whitewater rafting.
Surfing is a prominent sport in Australia, and we set out to interview the surfers at Bondi Beach. The first surfer we interviewed grew up in Sydney next to Tom Carroll, who became a 3-time world champion surfer. He stated that water sports have definitely impacted his identity while growing up in Sydney because he has never lived away from the coast or the ocean. We asked him how surfing makes him feel, which he jokingly responded, "It's a feeling better than sex," adding that when you catch a wave, it's just fantastic. He says that before all of it, you're sitting out there waiting, and you have to make sure the wind, swell, and all the elements are right. Once the timing is set, he gets a big adrenaline rush. He has yet to get his first barrel, but surfing is definitely something that challenges him. He said that surfing is always different. It's not like skiing where you can go down the same mountain and practice, because with surfing, every mountain is different. Like the first surfer said, getting an adrenaline rush is simply fantastic. This is when your body enters a fight or flight mode, causing chemical changes to occur. It makes your fatigue go away and provides your body with more energy, causing you to become more alert. This helps with performance, especially during sports, and your body feels like it's on a high, especially in a situation where risk is involved. This will heighten your adrenaline rush even more, bringing out your body's innate skill for survival.
The second surfer we interviewed grew up surfing in South Australia and has been surfing for about 30 years. He also does a bit of extreme snowboarding. This surfer says that he doesn't always feel connected to nature at Bondi due to the amount of people he finds here in the middle of the day. He does feel more connected to nature when he surfs in other places where he is alone. Surfing allows him to have a connection to something greater than himself when he is alone, and whenever he gets a big wave, he feels the classic adrenaline rush.
Our third surfer is from Spain, and she's been surfing for about a year and a half. She also snowboards and wakeboards. To her, surfing is the sport that brings her the closest to nature because of the intensity of the waves, and that the intensity she gets from the ocean is always exciting for her.
From this Australian couple we interviewed, the husband surfs big waves, but hasn't done any that he considers extreme. He has surfed 10-foot waves himself. When he surfs, he gets a good adrenaline rush that stays with him for quite a while, and then he feels like he needs it again. The wife has never surfed and says she would never do extreme sports because she thinks it's crazy, which is a common response. The husband loves them and used to race motocross when he was younger. He states that he has never been into traditional sports. To him, surfing brings him closer to nature because of the natural energy that you're riding, because none of it is man-made. When he gets smashed by a really big wave, it impacts his identity because it teaches him humility.
Lastly, we interviewed Juliana Barr Thompson. She's a surfer, a lifeguard at Bondi, and has done extreme ocean rescues. The most extreme activity she has done is spent 43 days at sea paddleboarding her way up the east coast of Australia chasing whales that were migrating. Instead of getting the typical adrenaline rush, Juliana says that surfing calms her and grounds her. It's a mindful thing to be in the oceans, she says. She grew up in northern Australia, where it is more quiet, and she sees herself as a more chill surfer. She has always loved the ocean, and her lifestyle and her work revolve around the ocean. Juliana says that the risks others feel for her and portray onto her are completely different than what she considers risks. If she thought the same way others did, she would not be doing any of the activities she has partaken on. To her, the ocean is a lot safer than the land. She talks about humans being land sharks and how it's far more deadly to be around land sharks than it is to be around ocean sharks. As a lifeguard, she thinks people who are doing extreme big wave surfing and other extreme sports know what they are doing and have calculated the risks way before attempting them. She adds that they do all sorts of behind-the-scenes work, like breath holding, training inside and out of the water. It's not like they are just throwing themselves into the water. It's within their league, otherwise they would not be doing it. Although, she thinks technology can start to become an issue with flotation vests and giving a false sense of security. Eventually, people might start trying these extreme sports without having the proper training. Well-trained big wave surfers are concerned with underqualified surfers who use this new technology and don't understand the conditions or what they are really doing. It will become dangerous. Why are extreme sports worth the risk? Like Juliana was saying, the athletes that perform these extreme sports have calculated the risk. They know exactly what they are getting themselves into. They know what to expect and how to keep themselves safe. Although extreme sports are all about pushing limits, it's more about learning control and finding a way to achieve the impossible while still remaining in one piece.
Individuals engage in extreme sports globally, from volcano boarding in Nicaragua, slacklining in Norway, to bungee jumping in China. We may see these as very risky sports, but that is because we all come from different experiences and backgrounds. Each extreme athlete has their own motive for doing what they do, but it definitely impacts who they are as a person. It is so much more than just being an adrenaline junkie. It is to connect with nature and to strive for that desired feeling.
Audio Jungle.